Warning: the following contains explicit language and subject matter that may not be suitable for younger listeners, church folk, and people who enjoy kale smoothies.
Every now and then I take a joke too far and get in trouble. That's why I haven't been on the road the last 3 years, because I did a lot of... Did y'all see Delirious? In Delirious, I was making fun of a lot of entertainers too. That's when I got scary, because I did some jokes about Mr. T, and Mr. T was going to fuck it up. I was scared, because y'all see Mr. T, he don't look like, like he can't fight. He looks like he can whip some ass, right? And I was petrified. I was walking parties, and people say, yo, man, Mr. T was just here looking for you. He was walking up to people saying, I'm gonna whip him over the ass when I see him. Then I watched the show, because I didn't know him. I watched the show to see what kind of guy he was, and the character on the show ain't too bright. So I figured if he came up to me, I could use the Jedi mind trick on him. Mr. T walk up and go, I heard you did some jokes about me. No, you didn't. Maybe I didn't. I'm gonna go beat up the fool that told me them lies.
Pretty much in.
Cool. Oh, sick.
Welcome back to APodAmongstMen. I'm your host, Steve B. This week I'm here with two guests. I have Tom Zappia and Alex Nicholas.
Hello. Hey, man.
Stand-up comedian extraordinaires.
Oh, nah, far from extraordinary.
Yeah. Also,
use the term extraordinaire loosely.
Yeah, also co-host of the show Keep It Basement.
Yep.
You might know we've already had Mike Sweeney on here, so we're going to get the other 2/3 of the tripod.
Hey,
Thanks
man,
a lot for having me. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
I saw your message. I was like, oh, shit, all right, cool.
I appreciate you guys coming through.
Oh, yeah, dude.
This is number 30, so we're entering a new new decade. Number. So to speak.
Oh man,
awesome.
Dude, how's the journey been so far?
Bro, it's coming along. It's a lot of work. That's the one consistent thing. It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we got lucky. I think like with all of us together, like me, Sweeney, Zappia, it's like everybody kind of does their job without really having to talk about it. Mm-hmm. You know, it's kind of just everybody has their set thing. Like I don't think we've ever had a conversation about like what to get done.
No.
Like nothing. Like yeah, it's pretty crazy. Like like they literally like I remember kind of asking you and you were like, dude, just show up.
Show up.
Show up and just talk.
Be funny.
Up, promote it, be funny. That's about it.
Do me a favor, pull that a little bit further away.
A little bit further.
Perfect.
Got it?
Cool. Yeah. So no, I'm sure it's much easier with 3 people because for me it usually involves like coffee break at work. I'm feeling like, oh fuck, I gotta put this thing together.
Yeah.
I gotta make a meme so I could post. You know.
Yeah, dude.
I hear that.
The marketing, the social media part.
That's the part. That's the fucking part I've been all over.
Well, you're doing it like solo, too.
Everything dolo.
Jeez, man.
At least less people got to worry about.
Well, that's true. I mean, I used to be in bands, so that was always the problem is trying to get 5 people to agree on one thing.
Oh, sure.
So it was kind of like, I'm like I can be a control freak now. I can do everything myself.
Yeah, definitely.
So let's get into a little background with you guys. So,
sure.
Obviously, you're stand-ups,
right?
Professionally, to get paid to do it.
Yeah,
you might have more than one job, but you are professional comedians.
On paper, yeah.
So, how did you guys get started? Give us like the genesis of how this whole journey began.
You want me to go?
Yeah, you go.
You want to flip a coin? I got coins.
Heads or tails? I don't know. Me, it was kind of weird. I was just I always like comedy. You know, your classic. Oh, I always watch comedy. I love comedy. I hate those stories. But I was in college and. I thought about doing it, but I didn't know how exactly to go about it. And then me and my college buddies, we all lived in a dorm my sophomore year, and we would just get wasted every weekend. And one night we were just like, Pete Davidson was like blowing up on SNL, I guess, and he was like the big talk. And we're like, hey, Pete Davidson's gonna be at Stress Factory. Let's all go see Pete Davidson. We all went and saw Pete Davidson, and I was already like inkling up to trying to do it the months coming up, but I didn't know where to go for an open mic. I didn't know how to sign up. I didn't know shit. And then we saw Pete Davidson, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna start. It was like springtime, and I was like, all right, I'm going to start this summer. And I bitched out for the whole summer. And then my senior year came around, and everyone was doing these stupid college internships. And I couldn't get an internship for the life of me. And I was so like enthralled with comedy at that point, like a fucking loser. I started emailing all the comedy clubs in the city, like, can I work here? Can I do anything? And like this club, Stand Up New York, got back to me. And I basically was like a glorified doorman. Like I would go in and run alcohol into the bar for them. I would bark on the street. I would... do their Twitter, like simple shit. They
How
didn't
much-
pay me.
How similar to like the show Crashing would you say it is?
Not even the slightest.
Oh, okay.
No, I think that's the most unrealistic show ever.
Oh, that's
but
good. That's good to know for anybody listening.
It's a great show, but yeah. And I started working at a comedy club basically my senior year. I'd go into the city like 3 days a week when I didn't have class, and then I was just like, all right, now I work here. I probably should start doing this.
So Stand Up NY is where you first went on
Stand
stage?
up NY. That's the first place ever. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
What about you?
And then me, it started because I'm very sure my mom told me I wasn't funny. Like when I kind of brought it up, I had my first job ever. No, second job ever. I was working at a Smoothie King, and rest in peace to the owner, Bill Leitner. He always was just like, dude, yeah, you should do stand up. Like, you ever try stand up? I was just always goofing around with just dudes I worked with, and then. The first mic I did was at Stress Factory, and like my mom came, my dad came, like friends, my boss, like Bill came.
That's gotta be nervous.
Dude, it was weird because
That's gotta make
My
you
parents
nervous.
have still never seen me.
Really.
Nah, I don't want them.
yeah, that was the first time I met Gordon too. That was the first time I met
Shout out
Gordon
Gordon.
Baker Bone. So Gordon was hosting the mic, and this is just all new to me. And if I remember right, I was number 23. So I was sitting for a hot minute.
How many minutes was everybody doing?
3 minutes.
Okay.
So I mean, so I'm sitting for like a good hour 15, man. And I realized after watching the first 10 people that what I wrote wasn't gonna work. It just wasn't gonna work. Like, it was a joke, but it was like it wasn't based in any type of true event. So then I kind of just wrote on a piece of paper just some funny shit that like my dad had said to me, and then ended up working out. And then this is actually how me and Gordon became friends, was because Gordon, it's crazy how everything lined up. My first time at Stress, first time seeing Gordon, first time everybody seeing everybody. Gordon had this new joke where he would ask people, are they a parent? And they'd be like, yeah. So he asked my mom, like, is she a mother? Yeah. And he goes, oh, well, what type of kid was he? And then she was like, oh, he's a good kid. And he's like, nah, I mean, the position he's made in. And and he did that. Crowd went nuts. And then it just so happened to be my turn to go. And it was just like the perfect transition, because he had no idea who I was, had no idea who the woman he just spoke to was. And yeah, 5 years later. Long story short,
dude, that's seriously like one of the weirdest things is being on stage in front of people. Now, I've done it with 4 other people. I've never done it by myself. So it's how are your nerves? Because I know even though I've been playing hundreds of shows, every time you go up, you still get that little shaky leg for like a minute in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
I still get it. Yeah. I mean, especially if it's a new place and I never done it before, like even just an open mic and I've never been there, I'll get even more nervous. Like rooms that I do like every week, like Stress Factory or something, like it's a little bit easier now, but I still, right before I'll get nervous, and then right when I step on stage, I can get into it.
Yeah, it's like anxious. It's like
Anxious is
you
a good
want to
word.
go. Yeah. I think like me, anytime I haven't been nervous at all is when I've done the worst.
Yeah, same.
Overconfident.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. It's just when you're not nervous at all, there's no intuition. There's like no like I don't know. Maybe comics would agree, like if they're listening, but it's almost like your brain goes into a certain type of overdrive when you're scared. And like in
So it's
any
like a fight or flight response.
yeah, in any situation where people when people have like been through something crazy or like a crazy accident, be like, it felt like everything was going in slow motion. It's like. It's like that. It's like while I'm saying words, I'm thinking something else, and at the same time looking to see the reaction it's getting. And it's all split-second decisions, but you need that sense of awareness. And yeah, there's definitely been quite a few times.
I recently had that slow-mo experience just the other day. I was coming down the stairs and I took a step and I just noticed that there was like a pile of Legos over here.
Oh.
And all in it was like a millisecond. I saw that there was another one over here and another one here, and I knew I'm about to step on this shit right now.
And there's nothing you could do.
Nothing. I was already on the way down with the step, so
There's absolutely nothing you could do. I've been there.
So, who inspired you guys? I know, for me, I grew up with stand-up. My dad played Robin Williams cassette tape, A Night at the Met. That was must have been 6, 7. We were on a trip to Florida, and that was the first time I became aware of like stand up as a thing. I'm like, oh my god, you could just stand up there and say funny shit.
Yeah.
So that was for me. That was the first one, and then you start. I heard like Robin Harris when they made Bebe's Kids the movie,
Oh yeah.
and I was like, oh, I remember hearing this guy.
You know what's funny? I saw that movie and I didn't know it was based in stand-up. I was too young to get it.
I had heard the stand up, but I didn't realize. I'm like, we Bebe's kids.
Yeah.
We don't die, we multiply.
Yeah.
And then there's a movie. I was like, oh, is this the guy about they multiply?
Because that's the thing. I saw the movie, but I would hear the crowd laughter because they were just sampling the live album, but I had no idea what stand-up was. So I was sitting there
same.
like, what is that? Like I had no idea. Like my first encounter with stand-up was like my mother's side of the family's Puerto Rican. So I remember this is like when Mencia was hot. Like when Mencia had his heyday, it was like everything Mencia. I remember.
Mind of Mencia.
Yeah. What I do remember though is
Boy,
like
that went south, huh?
yeah.
Rogan took care of that.
Hey man, yeah, and you know what's funny is that everybody with in that regard between like the Rogan and Mencia thing is the universe kind of puts everybody where they should be.
Yeah.
And it's like there's a reason why Joe Rogan's now known as Johnny Carson right now.
Yeah.
He
Like,
basically is.
Yeah.
he is
Yeah.
like I just realized
Mencia's back. I mean.
no.
lightly,
Mencia's working. He's touring.
Yeah.
He's built a base, but at the same time, it's like, dude, Rogan's just got the world by the balls right now,
Oh,
and
yeah.
it's ridiculous.
Well, in
Like,
regards to Mencia, it's amazing how many people have no idea any of that drama that went on. They just know, oh, remember that guy who had the show? Yeah, I haven't heard from him in years.
Yeah.
a lot of people don't.
Yeah.
Like, it's real. How about number one? It blew my mind that he's not Mexican.
He was like Ecuadorian,
he's,
like a
Honduran and
Nicaragua
German.
or
In
Guatemala,
German.
one of those.
something.
His name's Ned.
Yeah, his real
Yeah.
name's Ned. Yeah.
His real name's Ned. I was like, dude, that's crazy. Well, that was my, but then like, you know, the longer you do comedy and you understand people's origins, it's like, then I started hearing stories about how Cat Williams and Larry the Cable Guy started together. And it's like two completely different guys.
Oh yeah.
But it's like when you're like inside the bubble, the stand-up bubble, it makes a ton of sense. When like you really think about it, two of the best dudes have some of the best following, started out together. Believable. Like real believable.
Those two have like styles that are unmistakably their own, though.
Yeah.
Larry and Kat.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. There's so many, like, I mean, to go back to your question, I don't, like me, I had a family where it was like, I went up and coming, like, my dad was always funny, but he wasn't playing comedy records or anything really. Like, he would watch, like, the Dean Martin roasts from, like, that's how old my dad is, from, like, the 60s and 70s. He was super into that. And he would watch those, and then I, like, vaguely remember when I was super young, he would watch the Comedy Central roasts, and I would see Greg Giraldo was, like, the first guy that I would see, because he was always the first one up, because he would set the tone. And once I saw Greg Giraldo, so he's probably an early influence to answer your question. You know, he kind of turned me on to that. But my dad was kind of just like the funny guy. Like, you know, he'd have his friends over, my parents' friends or whatever, and he would be always the one cracking jokes. And like he'd get the room to laugh right after, and I was just like, oh, that looks pretty cool. But like I didn't know about stand up or anything. I was just like, oh, my dad's the shit. That's really it. So probably at the end of the day, he probably got me into it without even trying to, like unintentionally. But like, yeah, like Larry and Kat and like all these comics, it's like, and now with how comedy is such like a fucking boom, it's like a new comic pops up every day and they garner a huge following, and it's just like, how is there this many comics? I can't comprehend it. Like even Larry the Cable Guy fell off, and he can go on the road whenever he wants and sell out. But like, you know, Cat too. Cat's a nut job. He's in the news for something psycho every
He's
time. He sells out all the
fantastic,
time. He's hilarious. He's hilarious.
He could do whatever he wants, I think, at
he
this
really
point.
can.
Like he's got that sort of career. Whereas
That's amazing though. He's definitely a guy who has demons. You know, he's slapping people in Kmart and shit.
Slapping
trying to
little
fight
in the
kids,
park.
Yeah.
kids getting beat up by
Trying
kids.
being the keyboard.
He's nuts.
When you guys were young, like, did you ever like? I know, like for me, I told you like the Robin Williams thing. It was my first. You know, that was when I discovered it. I used to stand up. You know Duke Island Park over on Milltown Road. Either way,
Yes.
they have like a big stage here, almost like a mini amphitheater type thing. And I remember going there as a kid in like second or third grade. It was my friend's parents, and I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna do stand up. You guys just stay there and watch."
Really?
And I'm like reciting the Robin Williams things, having no idea.
Oh, so you've done stand up before?
Yeah, I had no idea what the jokes meant.
Right.
Like I'm making like telling jokes about the Reagan administration. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. But yeah, I've done stand up in the sense like that Mencia has. I use other people's jokes.
Stealing people's stuff. That's
Dude,
funny.
I think that would, to be honest, I think that's everybody's first experience with stand up. Because I remember seeing stand up late at night, not really having a grasp on what it was, but hearing stuff here and there and be like, oh, that's really funny. And then like one of my friends like, dude, I saw this thing. Like this guy was like, and then it would get the same reaction. And then I was like, okay. But like I feel like early influence for me was like same with Zappia as my dad. Like my dad is like probably the funniest dude I know. Like I still don't think I'm funnier than my dad. Like, and he's a barber by trade. So like in that culture, you hold shot, like you hold court.
Yeah,
like,
you gotta have those people skills. You gotta be able to talk and say that shit. You know.
Yeah, man. Like just early influence of just like even when I look back now and I see how my dad like talks to a whole shop full of people and everybody's kind of just bugging out and laughing, having a good time. It's like, oh, this is his crowd work. You know what I mean? Like you know, and it really is off the top of his head because he's that funny. But it's like put lights and people that you don't know in front of you, and it changes the entire demeanor. Like then it gets weird. Then it gets hard.
So, who else are like some of your early influences? Like, who do you think was some of like the top stand-ups? Like some of the best routines, some of the best specials you ever seen? Like, what are the ones that really like spoke to you that made you say, "Oh shit!" Like this guy's on a whole nother level.
Chappelle?
Yeah, Killing Them
Kill 'Em
Softly.
Softly.
Chappelle. That Richard Pryor album too.
Which one? Sunset Strip.
That was
Whichever
crazy.
one where he told the dude in the crowd, I'll smack you with my dick. I forgot who. I just remember that.
I think it was live on Sunset Strip.
Is that the one?
I think so, yeah.
Because
Sometimes they throw it up on HBO once in a while to be on.
Yeah, he has two. I know one of them. I think is that the one where he was bombing, kinda. Because there's one where he was like tanking for a bit. Like,
Really?
No.
That one I remember. Like I gotta look this up, but there definitely is one. No, Palladium. He bombed at the Palladium or something like that.
Maybe.
I'm
I
almost
don't know.
sure.
I didn't really watch
There's one
Pryor.
where
I don't know
remember
him that well.
Yeah, I remember
know
just
that well.
hearing it, like, and I got like, you know, I'm thankful enough to have both of my grandparents, both sets of grandparents. So like, we had comedy like albums. Like I remember like Mom's Mabley.
Oh, okay.
Like Pryor, Red Fox.
Mine was probably more,
Yeah.
yeah, because we didn't like. My dad didn't play albums or anything. Mine probably was more movies, and then like those comedic, those guys that were insanely funny comedic actors. Jim Carrey, Robin Williams, probably the top two.
Chris Tucker.
But they were stand-ups before that, and I'd always loved them. I would always recite The Mask, Ace Ventura, and then I found out after the fact that he was a stand-up comedian. I thought he was just an actor. But like early on, like. Not even that early, probably like Bill Burr really did it for me. Like You People Are All the Same, which isn't even old. I think it was like 2010 maybe. But like Skanks for the Memories of Tell.
Oh, I could recite that whole thing.
Me too. It's my favorite album of all time. He's my favorite comedian of all time.
How old are you guys?
I'm 24.
25.
24, 25? Okay. So I'm 34. So there's a few years between us.
Yeah.
No, that's not.
I gotta say, like, one of the first ones that really I saw way after the fact, after it came out, but the one that really like made me realize, oh, this shit is serious. Delirious.
Oh yeah, of
Oh,
course.
yeah.
I think that starts it all for everybody.
Yeah,
Like
just the whole cookout skit.
yeah,
Oh, dude.
the
whole
cookout
thing.
and the ice cream man and the gay kid. Yeah, all that. I think Delirious. Everyone names Delirious. It's like if you do comedy, you haven't seen Delirious. It's just it's like the funniest.
He set the
It's like the
trend.
funniest thing ever. Like
Yeah, I feel like
He's
I
the
think
reason
Pryor
why
and
he's the
Delirious.
reason why black comics wear leather in their specials.
yeah, and now he's coming back for 7
No,
years.
makes sense, yeah.
That's really why. Like,
Chris Rock said that's why he did it, and Bring the Pain.
everybody.
Bring the
20
Pain.
years old when he did that.
Yeah, I think he was
Dude.
22.
Yeah,
83.
Dude,
I think he was 22.
That's
yeah.
crazy.
and he murdered that room.
He's about to come back. Netflix, 70 mil.
Yeah,
I know, dude.
See how that goes.
Nah, but that's
I love
Delirious.
the
And
whole
Raw.
thing.
People forget
Raw,
about
yeah.
Raw gets overlooked. It was like they're both amazing. They're only like 4 years apart.
Hey fool! I heard you making jokes about me.
You
No,
were reciting
didn't.
that at the basement a couple times.
That's my favorite line from the whole
That's your
thing.
favorite- that's
That and
hilarious.
anytime he does the impressions of his father. But yeah,
He's hilarious.
some of the first. What's the first live performance you saw?
ooh.
I didn't see comedy live till I might have been doing it already. I would never like went to comedy shows or anything.
Really?
I didn't even know. I didn't know how to go about it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. It might have been.
I'm really trying to think too.
I saw.
It might have been that Pete Davidson show, which was only 4 years ago.
Oh wow! I saw
think.
Robert Schimmel at the Stress Factory.
Really?
Oh wow,
Yeah,
That's the
it was
right
like
back,
I was only like maybe a year or two before he died.
Really?
Yeah,
that's a solid act to see though.
he was good because he had the one HBO special, Unprotected, that was just like murderous. It was so funny. But my best friend, we got him tickets to see him for his birthday. So Stress Factory's right here, perfect. Dude, we were pissing ourselves. That was like, all right, we got to go see more of this. I just saw you there a couple months ago with the Well Read guys were through.
Yeah.
Shout out to Well Read Comedy Tour.
Oh, nice.
I know they ain't listening, but you know, they were nice.
No, shouts out to them. No, those dudes, all of them were funny too.
Because
usually when people like go like there's like 4 dudes on the road together, there's always like the dude or two where you're like, you're just a homie. They give me the time, but like all of them were good. They were all different.
I started listening to their podcast. I saw Trey Crowder on like Bill Maher or something years ago. And then I followed him, and he's like, "Oh, I got a podcast out." I was like, "Oh, okay." And that is when I first started listening to podcasts. So it just so happened I was their first episode.
Oh, nice.
That's great. That's crazy.
That's unrelated now, anyway. But those guys were cool. They were funny.
Oh yeah.
Nah, they were dope. You really stumped me with that. I can't remember my first comedy show.
Me neither. I honestly think it might have been Pete Davidson, but I could be overlooking something.
But that's actually funny that you bring up Pete too, because after I did my first mic, and I think a lot of comics in this day and age that like got into it like within the last like 10 years can relate to this. When you first start, it's like YouTube is like your encyclopedia.
Yeah.
It's just like there is just every set that you can watch. And I remember having this idea that because I was a person of color and doing comedy, I had to be this high energy act. And then I saw Pete, and the message relayed better. Like I got comedy better watching Pete, because I was like, okay, like this is a young kid saying, like, we're around the same age, same perspective, not super high energy. He's not really low energy either. I didn't know you could have a middle.
Yeah.
I always thought it was either deadpan or humping a stool.
Well, if you're talking about like black comics, there's guys like D.L. Hughley that are like right in that sweet spot, right in the middle, you know?
Now.
See that.
Because like
Even
if you
before,
look at
back in the day.
Nah, I will
like,
give you that. I will give you that.
Yeah,
Well, I
like
think
early
the
DL.
energy of black comedy came from Def Jam, where it's like you're supposed to be high energy for it to work. But like even if you watch old Def Jams of Chappelle, he wasn't like crazy energetic.
No.
Like,
No,
Chappelle's
yeah, you're
always
right.
been.
If you watch Greer
That's
Barnes
why he's so
on
good.
there,
Greer, oh god, I remember
Yeah,
the first time I saw Greer,
they didn't.
I
get
legitimately almost peed my pants.
He's too
Well,
funny.
plus, I was working in a comedy club, and I would get there at like 9 or 10 in the morning and just fucking jerk around all day and funnel in orders to the bar, whatever, and then I would just go right to the back for showtime, 2-3 shows a night, and sit in the back and watch every single show and watch every single comic. And to the point where it's like I was seeing comedy specials come out, like Mark Norman's or some of these up and comers, Sam Morril, and I knew their whole act as they're saying it because I saw them craft it in the back of a club, and it was like insane. And I would go to the cellar when I could fucking spare a few bucks to like reserve seats, and I would go to just run around and just like see all these people. And it's like everyone's working on their shit. You just don't really see it until it comes out in a form of TV or whatever.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's fast forward now. You guys started doing it. You did the open mics. You got up on stage. You got over that initial hump. So how are you guys now starting to build a career with this? Like, this is obviously somewhat and this is clearly something you guys want to do. This is a long-term goal. So how is this? How are you building your life around it?
That's a good question. I'm still like trying to figure it out.
I'll tell you what. I'll give you 2 seconds. I'm gonna get a refill. Anybody want one?
Cool.
Oh,
I'm good.
Yes, please. Yeah, that's a great. You're asking amazing questions, by the way.
He's an interviewer.
Like,
It's better than
trying.
Sweeney.
Hey, Sweeney was inspiration for me.
Oh yeah, sure. He's great.
The first person I know that had a podcast.
Really?
Yeah.
That's great.
sounds like you didn't mean it.
Nah, he's fucking, he makes me physically.
These guys
ill.
are like brothers, bro. Like,
He's
Shout out to Mike Sweeney.
Yeah, shout out to Sweens.
shout out to Sweeney.
The next
We love
Howard
you, brother.
Stern, quote unquote.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, for career, like not. I don't have a career in stand-up yet. Obviously, I mean, I did the fucking go to school. Sorry if I'm cursing too much. Go to school.
Dude, curse away.
I have a day job right now. I work 40 hours a week at a desk, wanting to kill myself. I'm not like this, like making money doing stand-up. Slowly but surely when I get booked on shows. But like, I'm just trying to make it where I'm available for any time, stand-ups at night, so I'm available at nights. It's the number one thing. Try to be available at nights. Alex has gotten in at the Stress Factory, and he's a regular MC there, which is great because you can get called on a spur, very spur last minute, to come open up for a superstar. Like, you never know. But like, incorporating more things. We started doing the podcast when I met Mike Sweeney on a whim. We met Sweeney. I don't even really know how it happened.
At Stress,
yep. And we do the podcast. That's another realm of it. Make videos, sketch videos, network with other people, and just like make it slowly but surely. The good thing about Jersey is because like I started in New York City, where it's like the Mecca. It's like that's where you're supposed to start. And then I kind of unfortunately had to flutter out to New Jersey, where I think the scene it's smaller inevitably, but I think it's great, and like everyone is like cool with each other, and we roast each other, and we book each other on everyone's shit, and we do each other's podcasts and stuff. And like I had to see that like hustle of like I would try to hit like 4, 5, 6 mics a night when I was in the city, and I would leave the club and I would get home at like 2 a.m, and then I would have to go to class the next day. And then here I can like, and I didn't have enough time to like network or like meet comics. I would basically like wait around, sign up, get on, and leave. So I'm trying to go somewhere else. I'm trying to hit the train, catch the train, which I missed a bunch of times. Here we have a bunch of great rooms where we can kind of just show up early, chop it up outside, drink, or fuck around, do the spot. A lot of people run great shows, so like it's just like kind of forming that network. Don't treat anyone like shit. Don't be a douche to anyone. You never know what they're running or what they're hosting, or if they like you or not. Just like be nice, be available, and write new shit. it's like, but like it's a long pan dream. Like hopefully like I don't know 10, 15 years down the road I'll be making a career out of it. But like my next goal would be to get on the road probably, or even just book more shows. I want to get back into the city and just get booked on more shows. I mean, so like it's a long way to a career, but like
that's a crazy thing too. They say like, oh yeah, you've been doing what 7, 8 years? You're a baby. Yeah.
No, yeah.
That's nuts.
A lot of guys who are essentially open micers with us have been doing it. They're like hilarious. Have been doing it 7, 8, 9 years. Like it takes a long time, and you got to do other shit. You got to do a bunch of different stuff.
Dude, it's grueling. Yeah, like even when I came to that realization, like it was like 2.5 years in. Like, this dude was like, yeah, that if you really this is what you want to do, he's like, you might as well just look up in 20 years and tell me what you see then. And I was like, that kind of changed my outlook on everything. Like even I think for me it's like it's funny too because like we've known each other for what
2.5 years,
like
probably
2.5 years,
early 2017. Yeah,
like, and he works his ass off, like, and it's crazy. Like we kind of get to see, like me and Tom get to see each other grow as like comics, and see each other's paths start to form. And it's also interesting because the way his work schedule is set up, it kind of it's there to aid the comedy, whereas excuse me,
that's my fault.
No, that's definitely me.
No, my phone legit just
oh
rang.
cool.
You heard Bobby Brown playing, that was me.
Oh, sick.
Brown.
Nah, but so I think but with my schedule it's different because I learned how to, like, I'm a social setting person. So I learned how to bartend, but you make most of your money at night. So I think that my outlook on comedy and perspective is maybe a bit different than the regular persons that grew up with the traditional get your day job every night, because I've come across great comics that have told me in the formative years to learn the mechanics of joke writing and get comfortable, you should be on every night. But a lot of experienced dudes have told me it's also great to step back and experience life and take in your experience on the comedy journey, because it's going to make you better and it's going to make you have a certain sort of introspection that you need. And I think because I can't get out every night because I got money to make, bills to pay, whatever the case may be, that I look at stage time and writing with a certain seriousness that maybe a lot of people would be like, I could do it tomorrow.
Way more serious
so,
than me.
Yeah, so there's a lot of people that they'll be like, they'll see me opening for people or, being able to go on the road to, small gigs here and there. And they're like, man, you aren't even out every day like that. But it's like, yeah, but, you know, I'm working on jokes
Yeah.
24/7 in my head all day, every day
I'm working. I would think you could probably get away with sacrificing a little bit of the quantity as long as you're making up for it in quality.
Yeah,
you know?
and that's my
I dropped
thing.
off. I don't get up nearly as much as I used to. I probably get up like, if I'm not doing a show, I probably get up like sometimes 2-3 nights a week. But like I try to make those count. And
Every time I see you, you got new shit though.
yeah,
And
that's like a thing with me. It's like I have to have new shit, or I feel like, you know. But like he writes more than me. I don't sit down and write ever. Like I'll throw something in my phone and then I'll just try to bring it to the stage. But like, yeah, I have a thing of where like I got to be working on a new 5 minutes like every couple months, or I'll feel like, you know,
You're not doing your part.
That's about it. Yeah, it's better for me too to like understand what I know works.
Yeah, you get fresh.
But like even since we met Mike, like, and he's a derelict idiot who doesn't do stand up, and he like tries to come into the stand. We try to introduce him to the stand up world, and he doesn't understand what it is because he's just like internet, and he's right. So like he's opened up my eyes a lot to the internet and what that can do for you, and taking other avenues of podcasts, video, whatever it may be, and he's helped me a lot. And my stand-ups, maybe even in terms of how much I get up, has taken a step back to him, and flustering out the podcast and doing marketing and doing t-shirts and doing whatever else. But I still like stand up at the end of the day, and I always have to explain that to him more often than not, that it's like, dude, I just want to do stand-up. But he's like, but are you gonna waste your time going to open mic in front of 6 people when you could just put out a video and more people will see it? And it's like, because I want to craft the joke and make those 6 people laugh. And it sounds like, coming from Mike's end, it sounds like, what the hell's wrong with you?
No,
from our end,
I get that
sounds
because
good.
it's you. You have to craft your own. You have to work on your own craft, And if that involves going up in front of 2 or 3 people, then so be it. But you're still getting up there. You're still putting in the work, regardless of who's seeing it, how many people are out there. It's probably harder to make 2 people laugh than it is to make a room full of 50 people laugh.
Yeah, well, you hit the nail on the head, because like I've had this theory, like I've told you that theory too, where to me bigger rooms seem easier. Like to me, a bigger room with more people in it, it's like shooting on a basketball rim that's like 10 feet in diameter. You can't miss, really. You know what I mean?
The laughter is infectious. All you need is a couple people to laugh, and it spreads.
Exactly, but you need moments, I think, especially in the formative years, where it's a test to your heart. You know what I mean? Like where you're walking into situations don't work. Jokes ain't gonna work here. Like you could feel it, and it's like
walking up. Well, I guess I have to say this now.
Yeah, but I think like stand-ups also help me think outside the box too, where it's, I know material's not going to work here. These people aren't into it. I got to figure out how to connect to these people right now. And that makes a lot of sense to me now, especially seeing, dudes I've opened up for. Even last night, Chris Red, I've been opening for Chris Red this weekend. Last show of the weekend, got a heckler, and he handled this dude so goddamn great that like he was getting like standing ovations, like scattered standing ovations, where different stuff he was saying was hitting different people, and like they were standing going crazy. Like he didn't know the one dude's name, so he just called him white dude and then started rapping at him, like freestyle rapping about the guy getting kicked out, and then like brought it back into a callback.
They got kicked out?
Yo, they kicked like 2 different people out because like dudes were just being drunk idiots. Like and Chris was like giving them chances, and then he just got them, and then it was to a point where I was like, that's years, bro. That's years of going in impossible situations and making them work, and I'm with that.
And that's got to be years of not always succeeding at handling a heckler. Like a tough situation.
Dude, my first heckler, I handled that terribly.
Me too.
Horribly. Like, because you see it online, and you're like, oh, you just got to just be mean. And then it's like, oh, no, if you're too mean, the crowd gets weird.
Yeah, they turn on you.
Yeah. And then it's like...
Although, when I saw St. John handle that heckler the other night, and he doubled down on him. I was surprised that he was able to get out of that, and he fucking roasted him.
Oh no, he roasted him, but here's the thing, and like
he started off easy, and when he went harder as it went on.
And that's what experience tells you, is like it's also read the room while you're doing it.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people just see blind rage and then just think of the worst thing they could say and say it.
So, this guy seems unstable.
Yeah, exactly, and not looking around the room, because I've noticed I've noticed I could say anything when I get the green light from the audience. When people are looking back, like, who is that? Tell me, like, when people are like, shut up.
Gotta make sure they're taking the ride with you.
Yeah. When people are all of a sudden defending you, that's when you're like, you know what? And then you can
You know
just
what? Fuck that guy. You're right. So,
Exactly.
so you guys are going out, you're doing the open mics. You know, you're honing your craft. How does this affect your life outside of stand-up, your personal life, relationships? You know, I know neither of you guys are married. You know, you're still young,
God.
so you don't have to.
Just
you got
kidding.
time.
No.
But yeah, I mean, how does that how does everything shake out?
I've had 2 relationships since I started, and I'm currently in one now. The 2, yeah, it takes a toll. I'm not even gonna lie, cause like, and I didn't understand it either. Like, you hear comics once again, you hear Chris Rock in the video, just like, you're a comic first, and like, you don't really know what that means, you know, until, you know, your girl sitting there just like, you know, I wanted us to blah blah blah, and you're like, but I'm booked.
Yeah.
But I want it, but I'm booked. Like, you know, it's different stuff like that. And then you also kind of, nobody talks about the trouble that starts when you happen to have a spouse that may not have such grandiose ambitions for themselves that you do. And there starts to become an underlying resentment, whether people want to acknowledge it or not. And I've always been someone that's very emotionally aware. So I definitely have gotten that as a common theme of, at least you know what you wanted to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and then it comes out, and then you're like, all right.
Well, me and my wife had a conversation about exactly that when I started the podcast. I was about 2 or 3 episodes in. She's like, "So
What the hell's this?
yeah, like, this is, you really gonna do this?" I was like, "Yeah, I guess I realized I didn't really ask. You know, I just kind of did it." But
Dope.
she's like, "Well, what if you get big?" I was like, "I don't know. Like, when I get big, and you know, then it's a come up for both of us. You know, I'm not. It's not like I'm gonna leave without you or something. But that's
That's the first thought I think a lot of
we'll
people
cross
think.
that bridge when we get to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, let's just focus on making sure the shit is good.
Yeah,
But that's the thing. We have to make sure we're on the same page. You know, if
It
I
also-
crash and burn, it's like whatever. But if it doesn't, then, you know, I don't want to be like, oh yeah, let's get big. We're gonna build a studio and do all this stuff. Oh, I just want to be, comfortable and live in have a nice quiet life. That's, it's a recipe for disaster right there.
No, it definitely is. I mean, I also think that, like, the beauty of podcasting and just, everybody having their own platform via technology is that you can kind of put a cap on it how you want it to.
That's true.
Like you kind of control your own trajectory, which is great. However, it's like you said, it's like it's so complicated when you're chasing something that's so complicated, because like there's so many layers to the shit. It's like you're figuring yourself out while you're doing this shit.
Yeah.
And then people's true colors come out too. Like there was definitely a clear difference between, like, even though I'm not with either girl, I've bombed in front of both on, separate occasions, and one definitely acted way different than the other.
Yeah.
And then when roles reverse too, when you kill, one definitely acted way different than the other. So it's like it's so weird, because it's like you're chasing something that changes everything around you, including the people.
What about you, Tom?
I mean, yeah, for me, luckily I haven't been in anything since I started, really. I mean, the most recent thing I was in was probably the first thing I had been in from stand-up, and that already fizzled out. That was only like 3 or 4 months. And she saw me a couple times, but she was like super loose, super down to earth, so she didn't really like give a shit, or
She wasn't
like
phased.
No, I wasn't phased, or wasn't like, oh, can you like, or how much money are you making, like anything like that. It was kind of just like, here for the ride, roll with the punches. She knew it's what I was. I think she was like into that kind of stuff, like comedy already. But like in terms of just like dating or like relationship stuff, it's like, I don't when I do go on dates and stuff, it'll come, it gets found out. It's kind of hard not to, like, it comes up. Like, I don't lead with it necessarily, unless I'm like, we're going out a bunch of times and it's like, look, I got stuff to do, whatever. But I haven't had honestly, surprisingly, I haven't had too much like fight back on it. Mm-hmm. It's kind of just like, all right. And I'm not at a level where it's like really that distracting. So, I mean, I haven't had too many problems. I mean,
Does it make it tough, like even with friends too, like making plans? You know, so and so. Oh, it's so and so's birthday. You know, it's gonna go out here. No, I can't. You know, I gotta do a couple sets tonight.
Yeah, with friends and family, I guess sometimes it's always like your family. Once they found out, like I remember when my like some of my extended family, like not my parents, found out, and then it's just like, oh, I want to come see you, I want to blah blah, I want to blah, and it's just like but you don't want them coming to a bar with 7 people, and like you kind of want it to be an experience, and it's kind of rough there. It's kind of like, all right, yeah, if I got something good or whatever. But I mean, yeah, with friends, it's like some nights it's like, look, I'm gonna go do an open mic rather than we're just gonna sit at your house and jerk ourselves. You know, I'd rather even go do a shitty open mic over that. So it's like,
Be productive. Yeah.
but like, yeah, in terms of family and stuff, like, I know some of my family have seen me now. A decent amount of my friends have seen me, and it's just like, all right, you know, that's what Tom does. He just stand up. It's not like, it's kind of just like a whatever now. They're definitely like in awe in the beginning, like, oh my god, thinking like I'm booking clubs and stuff. Like 2 months in, it's like, nah, I'm gonna go up in front of 4 drunks and one, girl.
So, oh no, my son, he's a stand-up.
Yeah.
Oh, do you think he could get me Don Rickles' autograph?
Yeah, something like that. But like,
I've been through that. Like, you have a show. Oh, come out if you're in the area.
Yeah.
And then they get there, and they're the crowd. They're the whole.
Oh yeah,
That's everybody.
Well, I did.
Shit.
Our friend Gordon show at Stress probably a couple months back, and it was a fun crowd. And my because I'll promote my shows on my Instagram or whatever, and my cousins will follow me, whoever follows me, and my cousins showed up and didn't tell me. And I see them. I literally, we're hanging out on the porch, by by the outside bar or whatever. And I see them walking through the front door, and I turn. I'm like, what the? And I see them. They were gonna try and sneak in and just sit in the crowd without me noticing. And it probably would have been better, honestly, at that point, because I wouldn't have known they were there. And I was just got in my head completely. The first time anyone in my family has ever seen me. And I was just like, oh god, how's this gonna go?
Oh,
and not to mention,
this year.
exactly. Yeah. Oh, 100% it will. And they sat right in the front row. On the front row to the left of the stage. So, like, every punchline, I'm looking at them, and, like, inevitably, I have to look at them. I'm just like, I didn't do great, but I didn't do terrible, so it was like, all right, whatever. They were just supportive. They laughed. They were happy. It was like, all right, whatever.
At least you weren't dicks, because then you have to, like, tickle them. So, you don't think it's funny? You don't think it's funny, John? Do you still piss the bed like you did when you were 11 years old?
I definitely would have pulled some of that shit out.
Does your mother still wipe your ass?
But, yeah, I mean, it's over at this point. I've been doing it, not long, but like long enough where everyone knows about it in my family. It's kind of just like, all right, yeah, how you doing? The day will be when I'm like, if I'm like selling at a club or something where they'll probably really be like, oh, that's what it turns into. Early on, they're like, oh my god, and then they come out and see you a couple times. They see what it is starting out, and it's like, all right, this is pretty bad. And then if say you make it 10, 15 years down the line, they're gonna be the first one like, hey, let me come get tickets to your show. Hey, you going on that TV set, blah, 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 That's how it works.
That's everybody.
That's everybody.
That's what I'm saying. That's how it works.
Podcasting is the same way.
Like,
exactly.
Trust me.
Like, podcasting, people was like, oh, you got a podcast? And then we had Mickey Gall on, and they're coming out of the woodwork, and they're like, oh, shit, that's cool. Remember that? And it's just like, that's how it works with life. That's what it is.
Nah, like, yeah, same. I feel like my family, like, they were supportive, but, like, yeah, it's like they kind of, like, they treated, like, me doing stand-up, I think, like, how I treated, like, Game of Thrones. Like, at first, like, I was just like
they were supportive, but they weren't taking it serious.
Yeah,
that's me now.
At first, I was like, oh,
I've never seen
cool,
Game of Thrones.
You know what I mean? And then later on down the line, I'm like, oh.
Same.
Yeah. It's the same thing.
Same shit.
But yeah, I don't know. First of all, yeah, if any family's listening, if you ever come to a show, please don't sit in the front, dude. Like,
it's a bad move.
It's not about you. Like, you came as a witness.
Do me a favor, don't let me know you're there.
Bruh, like, I remember my mom, like, even when my mom knows the deal. Like, when my mom comes, like, she was like, just let me sit in the cut. I was like, yo, you're the best.
Cool. Dude, that was the worst too.
My mom never even seen me, so I don't know how that's gonna go.
My first band was like a heavy metal band. I remember my parents coming out. My mom listens to like Marvin Gaye and Earth, Wind and Fire, and she's coming out to see like screaming music, like screaming fuck music, and I'm just like, before when she got there, it was before we started. I was like, I'm sorry, I don't know why I asked you to come. Like, this is a mistake,
Yeah.
And we get there, and she said, oh no, it was good. You guys had a lot of energy.
I loved it.
A lot of energy. Trying to find anything nice to say. Yeah,
we're great stage presence.
Yeah, we're headbanging, waiting for our fucking heads to fall off.
Oh, dude, nah. I remember I did this show in Elizabeth. It was like my first show I ever produced. And it was me, this guy I worked with. Shouts out D Prados. He's doing great, by the way. He's like real cool MC. Does like a whole bunch of venues, hosts a bunch of events. But this is like early stages, like even him figuring his own craft out. And he was like, yeah, don't worry, we're going to promote the show. Going to get like, and by the way, it's at Dolce Lounge in Elizabeth, right? So Dolce has a huge backstage. Like there's a back room that it's like a showroom, right? So he's like, yeah, we're going to get enough tickets to do the back room. So get there. And the crowd is everyone that came to see me, which is my family. Right? So everyone else on the bill, and it's not even on the stage. It's like in the front room. So like, I don't know how to work a lounge. I'm 6 months in. I don't know how to work a room where I'm on the same floor as the people.
Yeah. That's weird.
Yeah. So I'm just eating it. Like bad. Like eating it terribly. And then I just look up and I see my dad just holding his stomach, dying. Like, just like, it just, like, yeah, like, my dad does not care. Like, my dad's funny as hell. He's like, yo, he's eating it. Like, you can hear him just like, oh my God.
That's a great feeling, too. It's like, you know, you won your family's approval right there.
Yeah.
Dude, he was just like, what is this?
One of the bands I was in was a cover band, and we used to play Atlantic City all the time. And they had, outside of Bally's, they have Sammy's Beach Bar. Yeah. So they have live acts come in on the weekends at night. So one time I was playing down there, and my grandmother was visiting from Florida. And my dad, my biological father, lived right outside of AC at the time. So they came. They brought my grandmother. She walks with a cane. Yeah. She's an old lady, but she's an old Sicilian lady. But she's got, I don't know, like she seems like she's got a little hood in her,
Yeah.
But we started playing, and we played "Shout," the old like Isaac Brothers song.
Yeah.
You know you, bro, and like the crowd's going wild. Everybody, it's a big crowd pleaser, dude. I look out in the crowd, and I see my grandmother throws her cane out.
Really?
She had both hands up in the air. I was like, all right, I think we did good tonight.
That's gonna be great.
Yeah, it was a great
hilarious.
feeling.
Made it, boys.
Would never
yeah, man, that's always
That's
the best.
so funny.
Shout out to my grandma. I know she ain't listening, but
Hey,
shouts out to grandmas, man.
My grandma listens to Keep a Basement with the Sweens every single week.
does she really?
No,
Yeah,
I'd have been disowned years ago.
Yeah.
I would have felt
Talking
really
about
bad.
porn and
about
dick
my own
pics and
family.
shit. Oh, are you kidding me?
Oh yeah, it's funny. Oh,
Dude, my dad found out I did a podcast probably like, I don't know, 6 months ago, and he's like, yo, when you get me on the podcast, you going to do a podcast? You going to do a podcast right now? I'm like, shut the fuck up, Dad.
Dude, I just had my dad on like 2 weeks
Really?
ago. Yeah.
My dad
How's
legitimately
that?
wants to come
Honestly,
to the basement.
it was pretty good. My dad's
That's
from,
an interesting dynamic.
but my dad's like an old school Italian from Newark.
That's my dad. He's from Newark.
Dope.
Oh, bro,
Ferry
it was,
Street, born
It
and
was
raised.
good. Like it was good because he was never part of it, but he was around that whole like wise guy element.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
he had a lot of stories about it. Like I had to go back later and like cut out some names. And he listened to it. He was like, hey, maybe this guy's still alive. I don't know.
This guy's still alive. I don't know.
I left in Eddie Hot Dog, but
That's hilarious.
Eddie Hot.
Yeah, my dad like legitimately wants to come onto the podcast.
Yeah, my dad wants to come back now. I was like, really? All right. I was talking about
Father
like,
episode?
well, see, my dad he's my stepdad.
Yeah.
And I'm a stepdad now too, so I wanted to bring him on to talk about like the similarities. Like, what did you go through when you first met me? When you married my mom?
Sure.
Because that's basically
interesting.
Yeah, it's basically the same thing I'm doing right now.
Yeah, exactly.
But it ended up being him telling me stories about like wise guys like robbing card games and stuff.
Some good stories.
That's
It was
great.
pretty good. But all right, so
Grandparents live a whole different life.
your parent?
I said grandparents in general
grandparents,
just live a whole different life. Like the label of grandparent makes you think that it's like, oh, these are just church going people, started a family. It's like I heard
Hellraisers at once too.
Oh, yeah.
Bro, like I heard stories about like my grandma, like
Well, my parents are grandparents
about
now,
to
and I
beat
can't
people
think of
up.
them
I'm
being
like, what?
like
How many
that.
siblings do you have?
I got just one older sister.
Okay, she got kids.
Yeah, she had
Uncle
a kid.
Tom?
She had they call. She just calls me Thomas. Yeah, she had a kid. That's a weird dynamic because my sister had a kid like super young, so now I'm like an uncle to this 10-year-old, and yeah, she hates me. She's obsessed with YouTube like all the other kids, so I don't really have
So
to
is my
talk
son.
to her too much.
I'm lucky my son likes Pokemon, and it's something I know a lot about.
Oh hell yeah!
Oh,
Oh,
that's
Pokemon.
a lot of
I'll
bonding.
straight-
Back
Listen.
in the day.
We all have those things. I'll straight nerd out with that, like Marvel,
Oh, yeah.
all day. So, all right, let me get back on track here.
Oh yeah.
So there's that common stereotype about stand-ups. They say a lot of stand-ups, getting on stage is like that that form. Like you need the attention. Like it's stand-ups are like narcissists. You know, like the stuff. Stand-ups are the ones that usually say this, but it's like, clearly there's something wrong with me. Getting on stage is my therapy. You know, having a podcast is my therapy. You think that's all bullshit? That's just something stand-ups say to make themselves seem like mysterious and interesting, or you think there's any kind of truth to it?
I think there's a little truth to it, but I also am not as common as others think it. There's a lot of bullshit to it too. Yeah, like, cause like I'll get fight back. I mean, I don't know. Like, if we're crazy, like, all right, yeah, we're definitely narcissists. Like, you're going up on a stage, everyone's gonna watch you. There's something like narcissistic to it, but then you see it from the other angle, whereas like I see it, where like I just want to make these people laugh and make them feel better. So it's like, oh, I'm not a narcissist. I'm like a therapist to them, you know. And you can kind of see it from both ways. But like, I think it's a little bit of both. But more a little bit on the side of like it's like a load of bullshit. But like a podcast would be a great therapeutic session. Like when I go to do the podcast after work, where I'm freaking struggling all day, like hating life, the podcast is incredibly therapeutic.
Yeah, that's what this is supposed to
Yeah,
be.
exactly.
Yeah.
Like I'm not some fucking life coach or something.
No,
I'm just a dude.
it's just a conversation.
Just chopping it up, though.
It's an unedited conversation. But I mean, yeah, to an extent, a little bit. Where there's definitely like a little narcissism to it. I don't think we're all necessarily like psychos, like crazy guys, like drug addicts. Like I know so many comics who are like some of the most normal people I've ever met. So I think it's a little bit of both.
You think it's more of like an old school thing?
Yeah.
I think that's what I was gonna say though. It's what school did you graduate from though? You know, because they're like me. Even when I came in, was very East Coast philosophy, and it was just authentic, like being as authentic to you as possible. I think that school of thought leads to narcissism. Like I just like even with that like the like that church bit that I wrote, where that's how I open it up, where I was like, I'm questioning religion, but I was like, who am I? I was like, I don't know anything yet. And then I was like, and it's because stand up, you write jokes for so long that you become so engrossed with your point of view that's just how inside of your head is what you see everywhere. So like, if you don't keep that in check, absolutely, yeah. There's dudes that have the Hollywood diva mentality when really you're the king of nothing.
Well, it's like, I would think there's people, you make it big enough, you almost don't live in the real world anymore. So your point of view is
it's skewed.
Only applicable to you.
It's skewed, man.
Yeah.
Like, and that's why I'm like the keep it in check thing, because certain people kind of check out mentally, where it's like in their head they made it, and it's like in my head I haven't accomplished 10% of what I want to.
I'm less than him. Like, way less than him.
You guys have any stories of like, you don't have to give names, but anybody like you met that was just really like in another world? You know what I mean? Like in their own bubble.
Yeah,
sure.
That's what this thing does. I think definitely the whole "don't meet your heroes" thing is real. There's a few people I've met where I've been like legitimately bummed out later. Where I've been like, they weren't mean to me. Like, I'm also not a dude that takes shit either. Like, if I feel like I'm being disrespected, then it's just like I'm turning it on too. But there's been a couple people where it's like I finally get what my parents mean when they go, "I'm not mad, I'm disappointed." Like that sort of thing where I'm like, wow, dude, that guy sucks.
I had my boy Tim on here like a couple months ago. He's a documentary filmmaker, and he was working on a project, and he was working at the Stress Factory. Like Jim Brewer was attached to it at some point.
Oh, nice.
I think the whole thing fell apart, but he was telling me a story of a comedian that he met while he was there, and the guy was a total dickbag to him. And it was a well-known guy. I won't say his name on here. Yeah. I'll tell you guys after. But it was a well-known guy, and I was so disappointed to hear it. So it's exactly what you're saying. Yeah. Like, I thought he was cool, man.
Dude.
And lo and behold, he was just a piece of shit.
Oh yeah, no, I met a couple people back when I used to work at I met some saints, like some of the nicest guys ever, who gave me advice. Just guys who were hustling their ass in the clubs every night. Greg Warren, Brian Scott McFadden, guys you've never heard of, but like
Brian Scott McFadden,
just amazing comics. But no, I met Amy Schumer once. She was a complete cunt.
Some would say a train wreck.
I met Jay Farrow from SNL. He was a saint. Tracy Morgan was cool. George Wallace. But yeah, even on the smaller scale, like some people just like run shows. It's just like you think you run a show, so you think you're the shit. Like I did it back when I was starting. Back when I was getting booked, when I was way too early on to be getting booked. Like a few months in, 6 months in the city, and some guys would run shows, and they just like, You get the ego. You're in New York City. You run a decently successful comedy show. It's just like, all right, dude, relax. Like, you still have a day job, you know.
Yeah.
That's my thing.
You're still human.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
But
been
no,
my
definitely met some assholes.
That's been my thing. No matter how well I did, no matter what somebody tells me after a show, I'm like, I'm going back to a 2-bedroom apartment that I live in with my mother, my sister, and my brother.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So it's
And
like
I'm
nothing.
going back to my house with my grandma.
Yeah, nothing's changed. Nothing's changed. Like, and I think that's the main thing with any artist is you got to be grounded. Like, you really got to be grounded. Like, and it's the
Guys,
hard thing.
I put my pants on just like you. What the only difference is my pants are on. I make gold records.
Dude, it's like, I think this whole stand-up journey is meant to be so long because of that reason. Like, find yourself or you lose yourself. And it's like, which one is it? Like, and there's people that pulled it back
go either
in
way.
too. There's people that toe that line
Yeah.
too. You know, like that, like this whole scene, like between drama, between friends, between egos, between drugs, between like all these different things.
We're in some lit group chats.
Yo, it's a recipe. It's a recipe for disaster. But it's like, I feel like all the people that have made it, they have the same thing in common. It's a strong mental state, very strong sense of who they are.
Oh yeah.
Morals.
Strong grind too.
Yeah,
Work
man.
ethic.
They understand what it is. Like, oh, what? I'm gonna chill with this girl. Like even when I heard the story of Louis did the garden and then went straight to the cellar after the garden. 98% of people would have been like, "Who was just in the crowd?
Yeah.
Who's trying to smash?"
Going backstage, sucking their own dick.
Yeah. We partying today. I made all this money and I just did the
I
garden.
just did the garden. Now let me jerk off in front of you.
Yeah.
He literally left out the side door, jumped in a cab, take me back to this basement. I need to work on more stuff.
That's serious. So now here, this is something that I really want to ask you guys specifically about. I wanted to bring this up when I saw you guys on your podcast.
Oh yeah. Thanks for coming by again.
Of course. So if you see the landscape of comedy nowadays, there's a lot of people who are trying to be edgy, trying to you know push the boundaries. Obviously, in this time of post Me Too and everybody's worried about political correctness and this cancel culture, all this bullshit. There's a lot of pushback. A lot of people don't want to be beholden to the Twitter mobs and all that stuff.
Right.
But do you find that there's people that try to cross the line intentionally just for the sake of being edgy when they kind of lose sight of what's actually funny?
Wholeheartedly.
You know what I mean?
Wholeheartedly. Yeah.
It's like you can be edgy, you can be outrageous, but it's still got to be funny at the end of the day. And I feel like there's a lot of people who lose sight of that.
Yeah. No, 100%. Like, there's people that a lot of people say what they don't mean. And that's when you end up typing up, 3-paragraph long, status about how you didn't mean to say what you said, and you're sorry to the people that that you've hurt and offended, and it will never happen again, and then you worry about your career. Whereas I think with an old school mentality, that took care of all that.
Yeah, it seems like the old school stuff that we grew up on, like you can be edgy and nobody cared.
Because it's coming from you. You're being you.
Because they're not doing it just to be outrageous, just to say the thing that they know they shouldn't say. They're doing it because they've actually crafted a bit around it and made it funny.
Yeah, and it's your life's analogy. That's what people forget. It's like, there's jokey joke writers, and those guys are good too. Don't get me wrong. Like, hey, if you got the mind to break down jokes and make them like I get that, dope. However, it's like, when you're pulling from yourself, you don't have to remember your intention, and you don't have to worry about the people you're offending, because if you're pulling from yourself, you're really performing for yourself. Like, there is no just like, what if this happens? What if this happens? Like, people have told me, oh, your shit's kind of like oddly personal. It's like, I only write about the shit I know about.
Yeah.
Like, I feel weird talking about some shit I don't know every single part of. Like, and what better thing to know than yourself? Like, it's like, even if you don't know it completely, it's like, like, I've had people get mad at jokes here and there, but I've just been like, dude, you know me.
Well, like, we all listen to like Brilliant Idiots, and like we know Schultz.
Schultzy.
Schultz is a perfect example of somebody who takes it all the way up to that line.
He toes the line both sides.
Sometimes he even goes over it, but he gets away with it because he makes the bit funny.
Sure.
He's got the best of both worlds.
Yeah, but I feel like there's a lot of less skilled comedians who.
You talking about me?
But you know what I mean? Like there's guys who take it to the line and don't have the chops to back it up and make it work.
Yeah.
You know?
I think if you're gonna take it all the way to the line, whatever the line may be, I'm someone who sees the line as literally nothing. I don't care if you make. Granted, it could be different from someone in different shoes.
Well,
like,
the bottom line, I mean, like the point where you lose the audience.
Exactly. It's like even if you do lose them, just follow through with it and go all the way through with it and double down on it. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work, and then you learn that and you don't do it anymore. But like in terms of if you mean, you know, someone taking it too far and they don't really know where they got themselves. That's just the nature of the craft. Like you're gonna do that. I do that all the time. I start babbling on about something very risky, race or whatever, and I have no idea what I'm doing. But if I get a joke out of it, at the end of the day, if I work with it for months or whatever, and I get a joke out of it, I think it's completely all by all means keep doing it. I don't care if Alex makes fun of my mom. I don't care if anybody does anything. Like it's all the nature of the joke. Like the Dina thing especially is
that was the Venmo joke.
That was the Venmo joke. Yeah, I don't know if you knew about that.
It's a great joke.
Thing, like I thought that was a great joke. And I don't think she was. I don't even think she was towing the line on that. And
I don't think that crossed the line.
I mean, neither.
No.
It just got turned into a bigger
sensitive
thing.
fans of his.
Yeah, exactly.
XXX
And the sensitivity is something. It's like
sensitive fans, and she's white passing.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing
That's what
people
she's a white
forgot.
girl,
They're like, you gonna let this? Like that's the one thing I kept seeing in the comments. Like, they're like, yo, I can't believe these white girls always think they could just speak. I'm like, yo, she's from Egypt, bro. I'm like, bro, she African. Like, stop this. Like, we all come in different shades.
Yeah.
Like, take that context out of here.
Just because Elizabeth Taylor played Cleopatra doesn't make this woman white. You know?
Exactly.
And I think all the greats have even done that. It's like if you're gonna get offended by something as something stupid or even something, it's just like you're not from the comedy world, so it's not gonna come off like it would to me. That's fine, but don't make it a whole thing. All right. Anthony Jeselnik waited one day to make his Boston bombing joke after the Boston bombing, and I am completely for that. So I think you should do whatever you want, and wait as long as you want. Definitely try to make it funny. Obviously, craft it for a couple months if you have to. But like if there's a mass shooting and you want to do a mass shooting joke the next day, I'm guilty of this. Then do the freaking joke, and if it works, it works.
See, the thing that concerns me is like that. It's almost like that trolling impulse that a lot of people have. They get off on seeing other people get riled up. You know what I mean? It's not about whether or not it's funny. It's only about whether it's funny to them as a person. They don't care who they piss off or whether or not,
Oh, yeah.
Like, I don't know. I'm not somebody who can decide where the line is. That's not for me. I only know what I laugh at, what I don't. And if I don't like it, then that's my problem and nobody else's. Yeah. But like that's the thing I see a lot nowadays is the guys that want to troll. They just want to fuck with you and get a rise out of you.
That's the culture now.
Yeah, but what's your opinion on that? Because me, I think that's a little dangerous.
It's corny to me. Like, I grew up with the saying, "Don't write a check you can't cash." Simple as that. And it's just like you can't. Someone's gonna pull your card eventually. It's just like there's so many people in this world. Like it's a numbers game. Like you're gonna say the wrong thing to the wrong person. And there's people that have the means to sit there, track an IP address, and show up to where you live. Yeah. Like, and that's what kind of made me mad about even the Dina thing was that people went that far, where they leaked their address. And it was all over a joke that 14 to 16-year-old kids are too dumb to understand. So it's like, in that regard, no, like I didn't fuck with that at all. However, there are these internet personalities that say craziness in front of a camera and type craziness on Twitter and Instagram, whatever, and then they get real friendly
when you see them.
And to that guy, it's like that's where that whole "don't write a check your ass can't cash" comes.
There's a lot of those guys.
There's somebody
a lot of pretty brave Twitter fingers, and then when you see him in person, I don't want a problem. I was just trying to get a rise out of you, get you to answer back.
People talking insane amounts of shit to people. Like even when we had Mickey on, Mickey was like, people just like inbox him, "I'm gonna fuck you up." Why would you say that to a UFC fighter?
I was like that dude that used to go around to like professional boxers and just keep talking shit, and eventually he wanted to actually like fight them.
Yeah.
But the guy was nothing. He was like 5'4", weighed like $125 or something like that, and he would always get his ass kicked. He did it to Deontay Wilder, and like this video.
That's what's gonna happen to the bagel boss.
But dude, he was talking
That's
horrific
the worst.
shit.
That's the
But
worst.
he was like talking shit about his daughter and shit like that, doing anything to try to get him to come. And then by the time Deontay showed up, he wanted to like kill the guy. I was like, really? What is that impulse? How does that happen? Because it's out there. I see these fucking guys.
I think it's just a certain
It's
trigger in some
conniving,
people
like,
that
it-
like social media created. Because like I don't give it. I've never even. I don't even comment on people's stuff. Probably because I'm like lazy. But like I don't even care.
Yeah.
It's like even a comic who I think sucks or is a hack or I hate or has talked shit to me or whatever. I still don't do. I
I
just
would never
ignore
take
them.
the time out of my day.
No, it's
to,
just
like,
too much
write
effort.
A message.
It's too much effort. If it's gonna benefit me, I would do it. But these guys are trolling. It doesn't even benefit them. It just gets their ass kicked, or it gets them. Okay, it gets your 15 minute of fame. You got 30 likes on your comment or whatever. But like for me, it's like unless it's gonna get me, help me have the guy ask me to open for him on the road or like be on his podcast or something. Like what the hell's the point? It's just like, and especially in comedy, it's like. If you're trying to do comedy too, why are you going to waste your time shitting on someone who's just trying to do the same thing as you? Like, you might as well just go up and do it yourself. And then if somebody comes at you, then you could take care of them. Wait for them to come to you, and then you can fight them on it, whatever.
My policy is I don't leave comments unless they're positive. Even if somebody's like doing some dumb shit, I just leave it away. I don't want to give them the satisfaction. If I think they're fucked up, or I think they're stupid, I don't want to give them the satisfaction that they got me to take time out of my day to comment on their stupid shit.
Exactly.
Like I'll show love, spread positivity, all that good stuff.
Yeah, we had Francis Ellis on from Barstool. He got fired from Barstool a few weeks back, and he would say he's like people would shit on him in his comments, and he would just respond in positivity, like, "Hey," he'd be like, "Yes, brother, I'm just trying to live my dream. I hope I can inspire you to do the same thing. Keep living. I hope you're well." And he would just be positive to all the haters.
Be well, brother.
Yeah, be well.
That's
brother.
the best thing you can do, though,
Hell yeah.
because that's what trolling is in its nature. Is
You're not giving them what they want.
you're using people's emotions as leverage.
Yeah.
Like, because whether you like it or not, it's like we've all been there. One text could change your whole day, depending on who sent it and what they said. Like one message. And I think that when people understood that and the power that has over people, that's when trolling came about.
Sure.
Was motherfuckers just like, I'm about to make this dude live it in his living room.
Yeah.
Because the comic in me thinks that's kind of funny. Like, just to be able to just type something and then some dude was cooking dinner for his family and now he's flipped the table. Yeah. It's like
These kids have no respect.
yeah, exactly. And you're dying like miles away. Like, yeah, like
To know that you have that power over someone.
yeah, in theory that's funny, but it's like people have lives, man. You know what I mean? Like why would I disturb that? Like I don't want to do that. Like, and it just seems real childish, man.
Just a waste of time, really.
I'm someone that has seen it. It's happened to me, and I've seen it where it's like you don't think you're gonna run into somebody, but for some reason, it's like the way the universe works. Somehow, dudes appear right before your eyes, and then you got to sit there and deal with the situation.
Here's a great callback for you. Hey, fool! I heard you making jokes about me.
Dude, exactly. Like I've been, and I haven't like sat there type message or anything, but like I've been guilty of it. Like where like I've been out with friends, blah blah blah, not fucking with some chick after a while, and then be like, man, whatever, yo, if she was here right now, I would tell her. And then all of a sudden, they're like, hey, yo, look, and I'm sitting there like,
timing.
Old girl just walked in.
No, that happened. There was one time, dude was like, well, like, yo, like, I was like, yo, I would go off if I saw her. Like, I was like, nah, like, nothing crazy, but like, yo, like, this one girl said some crazy, disrespectful shit. And I remember I was so in the moment. I was like, yo, I would embarrass her so bad. And then one of the homies was like, that's funny you say that. He's like, it's real funny you say that.
Because bad rap.
Yeah. And then, of course, I didn't mean what I said. So I'm just sitting there over there like, we need to talk. But in private. Yeah, nah.
Yeah, Paul's like, hey, if you're not busy right now, can I come talk to you for a minute?
Excuse me, sorry. You want a shot? All right.
Then you come back from outside having a cigarette. He's like, oh, I told that bitch everything.
Yeah, exactly. Nah. Dude, but stuff, it happens. And everybody's got phones out now.
Yeah.
Like you get your ass whooped because you get somebody starts beating you up in public and people filming it all because of something you brought on yourself. I'd rather not. I like peace in my life, man.
Yeah.
I've been knocked out before. The shit was not that bad.
Jesus.
I woke up in the club well rested as a motherfucker. Shout out to Cat Williams.
Oh man.
That's like a normal thing I do in here. I at least quote one stand-up comedy routine on almost every episode.
That's how I know. That's how I know
Not on
you're a
purpose.
fan. That's
Not
how
on
I know you're a
purpose.
fan.
Not on purpose.
That's a tick I have.
just
I always
comes.
quote
Yeah.
movies and stand-ups and shit
Oh, that's great.
constantly. I just got caught doing it. I think yesterday. I was quoting Bronx Tale.
Great movie.
Now you can leave, you know. But
Shout out
So-
to Sonny.
shout out to Sonny. I saw Chaz Palminteri do the one-man show of that
Oh really?
on stage at Caesars in Atlantic City.
Oh nice. How was that?
Surprisingly, it was really good. Having seen the movie a million times,
Yeah.
Oh, he did a one-man show of
It's
it?
just
How the hell
him.
did he pull that off?
he's telling the story as if say you like it's your dad telling you a story of what happened to
Right.
him when he was a kid. It's like that. It's just him, and he's describing the people, and it's the story from the movie.
Right.
But he's doing the voices. He's saying, "Oh, and fucking Eddie Mush is back here." I said, "Put him in the bathroom."
Oh damn.
You know, but it was really good. I was honestly taken back. I was like, "Wow!" Like I really enjoyed watching this.
Damn.
I don't know if he still
I don't know
does
how
it.
people do one-man shows.
I
Like,
saw John Leguizamo do Freak.
Oh really? I heard that was insane.
First
Oh.
one, it was really good.
Yeah.
That was before it ever came to HBO. Like I saw it on stage.
Yeah.
I saw that and the second one, Sexaholics.
I heard he's just an amazing actor. Just
Bro, he
in
was good.
general.
He was good because he's someone who could do the voices. Like he's got a wide range. So he
Yeah.
could do his mom, his dad, his brother, the
I'm jealous
neighbor,
as
and
hell of those
everything.
people. I'm jealous as hell of the people who can do voices or impressions. I can't
Yeah,
do it.
man.
I can't even try to do that
Just
shit.
physical comedy in general.
Yeah.
It's like that's a whole other skill set.
Trying to teach my son how to do a good Arnold impression.
Schwarzenegger?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I can't.
Hey.
Come on, I'm right here.
I can't
a
do
good one.
shit.
I'm going to come get my paper towel. Ari Spears is the one that turned me on to that.
Oh,
Oh,
Ari's
dude,
hilarious.
Ari's amazing. Though.
He does some of the best impersonations ever. The whole rapper thing where he does all the different voices, but then to actually see him, he was talking about the movie Heat. He was saying that's one of my favorite movies. You know that scene with De Niro and Pacino,
Yeah.
and they're in the diner, and he starts doing Pacino and De Niro,
Really?
the two voices. He's like, but that's why those guys get paid $20 million a movie to act because they're so good. Like imagine you can't have that same scene with Stallone and Schwarzenegger. Like you ain't gonna be able to understand shit. And he goes into both impressions of them. It's fucking
He's
brilliant,
great.
dude.
That's
Dude.
legendary.
He just did. He's got beef with some comic.
Wasn't it with Corey Holcomb?
Really?
Was it Corey or was
Didn't-
it one of Kevin's openers?
I could have sworn that Corey Holcomb had a radio show.
Oh no, he got beat up.
Yeah.
He got beat
Corey
up. on
Holcomb
that.
got beat up?
No.
Oh.
Ari Spears got beat up. on
Corey just did
Hol-
Caroline's last week.
Yeah, on Corey's show. Oh, Corey's a real one.
Yeah,
Like
Chicago.
put it this way: when Patrice O'Neal was alive and went to L.A., he was hanging with Corey.
Yeah.
Like that's probably the closest thing we have left. Like I shouldn't even say that. They're two different dudes, but in terms of realness, that's probably like one of the last dudes you got left. But no, Aries has beef, I think, with one of the Plastic Cup Boys for saying something in the interview. So then Aries was in the interview, and he was like correcting him on something about. He was like, "You said Paul Mooney wrote for Richard Pryor." He was like, "Paul Mooney never wrote any of Richard's jokes." He's like, he wrote on for the show. He was like, he didn't write for his stand-up. He goes, and he was like, if you would have asked Paul Mooney if he wrote for Richard Pryor, and he just snapped into Paul Mooney, but it was so freakishly accurate. Like,
It's scary how much it
to
sounds like.
the face, the demeanor, like I was like it looked like he was possessed by Paul Mooney. Like it was so spot on.
Damn, I gotta watch that.
Like I never wrote for Richard.
He mentioned that he mentioned that in his Hollywood I'm Smiling in that special. He
Really?
referred to Paul Mooney. He's like, you know, this guy's a bad motherfucker. He wrote for Richard Pryor and Eddie Murphy, and then he goes into the whole impression.
Dude, he's there's not too many impressionists. Even like I know Jay Farrell's a great impressionist.
Yeah, Jay Farrell's great.
I still think probably Aries is probably the best impressionist.
I think he's the most versatile
Yeah,
because everybody can do like one or two.
Yeah.
He could do so fucking many.
a lot. But like even hearing I forgot who said it, but they said they talked to Jay Farrell and how he breaks down impressions is crazy. Like where he was like Christopher Walken. It's just slowed down Jay-Z. And like he did a Jay-Z impression and then slowed it into Christopher Walken, and it's the same shit. And I'm like, wow. Like there's a science to it. Like I didn't know.
I could see that.
I just thought dudes just had the gift where they was just like, oh, let me just try to be this guy and practice it enough to where they got it. They were no, these dudes look at dudes talk. And
yeah, it's tough to do it right because you got to pay attention just to the way they say certain words.
Yeah,
like the inflection at the end of a certain word can make or break the whole thing.
You got to watch countless hours of a guy that's not you talk.
Yeah.
I do. I like to study like accents, like the way just different regional accents. Like going like I was just in Miami. And Miami has an accent that most people you never hear about, but when you go down there and you hear it, it's like think a lot of guys who are like Cuban parents, but they're born in Miami,
right?
But raised around all Cuban Americans, and there's a certain inflection, and I'm still working on it, but it's fucking there, man. Like shout out to my friend Nick. He was just on the last podcast. He's got it. Like me and him were like we commented on each other's accents. I didn't know I had one, but I was told I did.
Yeah,
which is cool.
Every time I go down to Florida, people are like, "Oh, you're from Jersey? Yeah, like you sound like." I'm like, I don't get it. I'm like, I don't, because the only Jersey
people tell me mine sounds
like in the movies.
I had somebody in Vegas tell me that.
Really?
Oh, you're from Jersey, right?
I'm trying to
bro. Did you
know?
Yeah, it's weird. I was like, I know.
I don't think I ever had anybody tell me. Although sometimes if I get into it, people say I sound like I'm from New York, so that's like Jersey enough.
Yeah, the same pretty much.
Yeah,
but
I've got
like,
Jersey.
you don't sound like you could be from anywhere.
Nah, somebody told me they were like, "Yo, you sound like you're from down south," and I was like,
"Oh, really?
Nah, I'm just cool, man.
I'm just cool."
Well, it's funny because like white guys and black guys can be from the same area but have different accents.
Oh yeah.
So like it's like two totally separate maps of accents.
Oh,
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like a Baltimore accent, it depends if you're white or black. It's a very different thing.
I was in Baltimore kind of recently.
Like if you listen to like Ryan Sickler,
Yeah.
like he's got his and then if you watch The Wire, you hear the other side. You hear like Prop Joe talking.
Oh yeah.
You know?
I'd say South Jersey accent's way different than North Jersey.
It's one of my favorites.
That's like
South Jersey is a lot like Baltimore.
Yeah, because it's more like that southern whatever. Oh, Philly too has a different thing.
Yeah.
Philly's got like that like.
Shout out
like
to Philly.
that.
That's where I was born.
Oh, nice.
Hey,
Oh,
yeah, my
yeah,
boys,
somewhere over
like 4 of them went to Temple, so like I always just go to Temple.
I attended my bachelor party in Philly.
Hey,
Oh,
where
right.
at?
All over the place. We went.
All over the
The problem is that none of us live in Philly.
Yeah.
So it was kind of just like, all right, well, we'll go here or we'll go here. So one day we were down in like Fishtown. We went to that place, Barcade.
Oh, amazing.
Oh yeah.
Then
My friend
we,
just
you know,
moved from
we
Fishtown.
spent time in Center City. I wanted to go. They had like a drunk history tour. Because I tried to like nerd out a little bit, and then I realized like, nobody's gonna go for that.
Philly,
And I wanted to get
like
I
Philly.
wanted to get like bicycles, like rent bikes, and then just go on like a bar crawl throughout the city with the bikes.
But nobody
wanted
wants to be on a
It was like
bike.
two people wanted to do it, and everybody else was like, "That's gay." I was like, all right.
That would have been me.
Yeah, I guess we'll just sit home and drink with the 6 of us. That's straighter.
Was Xfinity around by then?
No, what's
Xfinity Live?
It's like the big ass sports bar down by the stadiums.
Dude, it's
Oh, no,
insane.
I don't know.
Across from the Philly
That's the thing.
Stadium.
None of us are into sports. I'm not a sports guy. at
Oh
all.
really?
I'm not into sports,
look like a
cars,
sports
all
guy.
the typical.
I swore
I
you were a
completely
sports
fell
guy.
off
Wow.
of sports too. I used to be obsessed. Now I'm
I'm
just
not.
like.
I like
whatever.
boxing. That's about it.
Okay,
That's pretty sick.
No.
I like boxing just because I did it for a little bit.
Yeah.
So like, okay, I know what to do, and I could recognize. Like, it might look like a boring fight, but I can see the guys are actually like really skilled.
Playing chess with
But
each
like,
other.
yeah, like football, baseball, I can't do it. Which is funny because a lot of the podcasts I listen to are guys that talk all about sports. They listen to like Bill Burr.
Yeah.
Like Nick Totoro now has one,
Oh, does he
and
really?
he's all about baseball. But he just had Ari Spears on, by the way. I'm way off in fucking left field here.
No
No,
worries.
this was fun, man.
Let me ask you one last thing. We'll end it up. I don't want to use up too much of your time.
Hey, we'll stay till 3 a.m. if you want us
yeah,
to.
man.
All right, then. Well, actually,
kidding, I gotta go.
I got more
Just
beers.
kidding.
No, I gotta wake up at 5 in the morning.
Oh god, yeah. I gotta-
Yeah.
So, with podcasting, everything we say is recorded. It's out on the internet. It's pretty much there forever.
Yeah.
I remember this question.
Down the road,
Uh-huh.
if you guys, settle down, have kids, start your own families, how are you going to feel if they want to look back and go listen to the, all the stuff that you talked about? So, for instance, for me, because I'm in a different lane than you guys. Like, you guys are comedians. It's meant to be funny. Like, mine is more about, just guys talking out their shit. You don't have to go to a fucking therapist. We're just
Right.
guys hanging out, chopping it up. But I kind of approached it from, like, the whole Sons of Anarchy perspective where it's like this is almost like a recorded diary for my son when he gets older. If he ever wants to look back and say, I wonder what the hell my dad was about, what kind of shit he went through, that's kind of what this is. Like, not 100%.
I was going to say, though, I'm like, you have nothing to worry about. I feel like because the intention was so good with
for
the
me,
idea you had.
That's one of the things I wanted.
That's what he's saying. Me and you were screwed.
I think I'm good. I don't say nothing crazy.
I'm actually surprised. That's such a
some
good
wild shit on
question.
here.
Like, I'm surprised that question doesn't come up more because, like, I just
nothing to put you in like jail or anything.
I remember just
yeah.
like stuff to make it awkward at the dinner table or whatever. But like, I can't believe that question's not asked more because I remember that question literally popped into my head a couple weeks ago. I was watching like the Fighter and the Kid clips or whatever, and Callan was talking about some girl he used to have sex with or whatever, and he has like an 11-year-old kid, so it's like all the 11-year-olds I know are on YouTube, so it's like he could just come watch this clip whenever he wanted and just see what you said. So I thought the exact same thing. I was like, I don't think I'm that nuts, but I've definitely said some stuff that would cause some stir probably. But I mean, like, yeah, if my kids ever came back and like listened to this like in 20 years, I mean, it'd probably be kind of awkward, I would imagine. But I don't know. I never really thought about it because everything is just out there now, and especially on a podcast where it's just recorded and out forever. Like, I guess like even like a YouTube video. Like, say a YouTube video came out this year, and then my kid wanted to go and listen to it, like, 20 years from now. It might be hard to find because it's so long from now. But, like, a podcast, say our podcast ended, and it's just, like, the slew of episodes that are there. You just go back and start listening to them one by one, listen to one a day, and, like, hear all the crazy bullshit I said. And it'd probably be, like, weird. I'd probably have to, like, explain to him some shit. Like, look, I was making a joke, or look, you know. But, like, I think the sex stuff or, sex stuff or, like, personal stuff is like what would be the weirdest stuff, but like if I'm just talking like comedy or whatever, I'm just gonna like tell it like it is. But I think it'll be super awkward.
I had that with a few things. Like I have a couple like strained family relationships, and I kind of talked a little bit about it. Like my two friends were Sean and Laquan were in here. We were talking about just all family stuff, and like I listen back and I'm like, I wonder how they would feel if they actually listen to this. It's like, oh, fuck it.
That's what I think.
It's nothing terrible.
No.
Like.
No, but it's personal stuff.
Oh no, I think the same thing when I'm in the basement. Yeah,
it's kind of like airing out somebody else's shittiness.
Oh, for sure.
Well, what I will say is, if I had to be on the brunt end of someone being shitty, I definitely have full access to take on any liberty I need to process how shitty you were. So like if I need to get 3 microphones and 2 friends and a laptop, so be it. Like I was there. Yeah. You were there. As long as it's not a lie.
Yeah. Am I lying?
No. Yeah, that would be my that would be my only thing. Yeah, like because. Actually, no, looking back, when we did that first episode, we were talking just about, like, crazy chicks and shit. So I'm almost positive the girl that I had just broken up with heard that. I'm almost positive.
That's the stuff we're talking about.
But I wasn't bad. Yeah. I was just saying like we were just trading stories off, I remember, for that first one. And, like, just, like, what we all learned after dating certain people. And I remember, she wasn't too happy, but like at the same time, I'm like, I'm not lying.
Yeah. Did you say your name?
And no, I didn't even drop a name.
Oh,
that was the best part. I was like, bro, you're anonymous, like, which only fed into what I was talking about more. I was like, this is still about you. I'm like,
what about on stage?
On stage, nah. I've never name dropped. I've never name dropped. I do talk about certain stuff. There's stuff even now that I don't know how to talk about it yet without doing it an injustice. Like, I want to make sure that, like, cause I've got stories, man.
Think of a guy like Bert Kreischer. He goes on and he literally says, like, "Oh, my daughters are stupid." Yeah, like it's a joke, but
I was just listening to him talk about it.
Funny.
All those jokes come from somewhere.
Hilarious.
Yeah, but what parent, like, to a degree doesn't call their kids dumb as hell at one point? Like, even my mom.
Even if you just think it.
No. Like, my mom was just like, she was like, we knew you're very intelligent. She was like, but you would just do some dumb shit as a kid. She was like, yo, there's just nothing we could do. Like, there's no way around it. Like,
I caught myself saying something like that to my son the other day. Like I forget. I don't even remember what he did. Oh, we were playing mini golf. We were down at Asbury Park yesterday, and he was getting upset because like he was having a hard time getting this one hole, and he's like, "I'm done. I'm not playing anymore." And I just walked over to him. He like threw down the club and everything. I picked him like, "What are you, jerk off? Come on."
Break them in,
Yeah.
man. Yeah.
And I'm like, I shouldn't say that to an 8-year-old.
No, no, that's mild compared to. I'll share
I
this.
say some wild shit to my niece.
Remember the shit I told you my dad said to my little brother?
What?
All right, so my little brother, this guy has mastered the art of pushing buttons. So he will do things on purpose, play it off,
Pushing
like,
whose buttons?
whoever called him out on his bullshit at first. So if he does something he knows he's in the wrong for, you call him out for it. Best believe
He's going down swinging.
like, yeah, nothing bad, nothing crazy, but just, indirect. And it got under my dad's skin. I guess so. All I know is I wasn't there. I was home, and my brother comes in, and he was like 8, 9 at the time. He comes in crying. So I'm like, oh, these guys asked what happened, right? So then my mom comes in after, and she's just looking at me, and I've never seen this look on her face before, but later on I figured out it was her trying not to laugh in front of him. So long story short, my brother was being late. Like, my brother had a really bad habit of not putting his shoes on all the way, just walking on the back of sneakers, and that don't fly with a black parent whatsoever. Really? Spent all his money on shoes and walking on the backs of them, like. So all I remember was my dad like broke. It was just like. He was like, "That's some lazy shit. He's just walking around on the back here." She's like, "You like a boneless chicken." So my brother is crying, right? He said verbatim, "You're like that boneless chicken in the cartoons, right, where like, yo, he doesn't even walk. They just throw him where he needs to go." And my brother couldn't even get it out. He's like, he said, and I'm like thinking this is gonna be bad. So I'm like, well, he's like, he called me a rubber chicken. Just crying. Yo, but like we grew up with that. Like my dad gunned us. Like, and it wasn't bad. It was just like, it's tough love. It's like if you ask for it, it's coming. Like it's coming hot. I was eating with my hands. He told me for an hour I was eating like a Viking. So what?
Yeah, my mom would say that shit.
Listen, this ain't medieval times here. You know what I mean? Dude, you might have worked hard on this meal. They're gonna eat it like a freaking gabon.
Dude, he looked like you eat like a peasant. like 7 a.m. Dude.
Like 7 a.m.
Yeah, dude, I remember that, dude. But hey, makes you better people. Like,
yeah, you gotta grow a little thick skin.
Sure.
I think
better when it comes from someone you know loves you.
Yeah.
I think that's also that's an important relationship to have with your dad, is your pops teaching you first kind of how to talk shit with another dude. You know, like, cause you could tell when certain people don't know how to hold court, like at a bar or just in a regular setting around other people. So, and I think that stems from maybe coming from a household where the man there was more to be feared than respected, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, there's a very thin line between the two, I found.
Yeah.
Like with a father and son, you want to kind of have a bit of both.
Yeah,
you know, I don't want my son to be afraid when I walk in the room, but I want him to know that, like, listen, this is your dad. He's the one who's making the rules. You gotta follow him, otherwise there's consequences.
Yeah.
So I want him to fear the consequences, not fear me.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that was the best. That's the best thing my parents did for me, was that they had old school values, but we're still young, so they got it. You know, so like, you know, my dad is like, to this day, my dad's my best friend, but never in my life would I ever step to my father neither. You know what I mean? Like there's that healthy both of, I respect you for you being my father, but also it's like I could sit in the barber chair with him while he's cutting my hair, tell him about a date I went on. You know what I mean? Like what shows next. You know, just life.
Did you guys see Colin Quinn's special on Netflix, New York Story?
Yeah.
That bit he did about Italian fathers. He's like, you know, they want to abuse the son, and the kid is too old now. They can't physically take him, so they got to abuse him verbally. Yeah. Like, look at this. I got half a meatball, for a son. Hey, you missed the right rear bumper. You friggin' Momo.
Momo.
Look at that. You chooch. Look at this friggin' kid I got.
He's a
Look at half a Momo I got for a son. See, that's the thing, the fraction. It's not, like, well, I don't know what a Momo is, but it's not Momo. It's the fraction that's the insult. Like, whatever they say about you, I'm saying you're half of that.
I love Colin Quinn.
That was a brilliant special.
His last one was great too. Red State, Blue State.
I didn't watch it yet.
So good. It was on. It came out on
like
CNN,
right?
I watched the old. I watched the old clip of him when they did the roast for Artie Lang. Remember that? Like on Howard Stern when they did that, and Quinn closed it out, and like just that man is like that's like best case East Coast philosophy.
Yeah.
He's like
the godfather of comedy.
And a joke writer.
Him and Attell.
Dude, what'd he tell Artie? He was like this. He was like, I would go on, but I'm saving the rest of these jokes for your wake.
Yeah.
All right. What do you say we call it a night here, gentlemen?
Hell yeah.
Hey, no problem, man.
us
Thank you
again,
for having
For
us,
real.
man.
Appreciate it.
Thank you very much for coming by. I appreciate it a lot. You guys want to plug anything? Any dates? Any episodes of the show?
Yeah, you could follow me at not Alex Nicholas, and me, Zappia, and Sweeney at Keep It Basement.
Yep.
On Instagram, Twitter. You can find us on Apple Music, Spotify, SoundCloud, Laughable. And August 9th, I'll be opening for. Well, this will be out probably.
This will be out Thursday, so.
Oh yeah, word. Okay, so yeah, August 9th, I'll be opening for James Camacho, Hopewell Theater. Should be a really fun show. If you're not doing nothing, come
Get your
by,
fucking
man.
asses out there.
Hell yeah.
Come by.
Word, yeah. I'm at
Mr. Z.
I think I'm at the Chubby Pickle. That'll be a shit show.
That sounds made up.
No, it's a bar in the Highlands.
Okay.
On August 22nd, I'm doing that. Yeah, just check out Keep It Basement, the YouTube, youtube.com/Keep It Basement, Instagram, Facebook. We're on literally everything. And just hit us up. I'm at Tom Zappia on everything else. And Steve, thank you so much again for having us. Appreciate it, man.
Man, thank you, Steve. For real, this is dope.
Yeah. Thank you for coming. So, all the listeners out there, you know where to find us. If you're listening, you already know, but share it with some people. You find us iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, SoundCloud, all that good shit. Wherever you get your podcasts, and on YouTube as well. Make sure you email us at APodAmongstMen@gmail.com with any suggestions, any questions you want answered on the show. And as always, look us up on Instagram at APodAmongstMen. We have a lovely, lovely meme account going on, some motivational posts every morning for you. Other than that, thanks for listening, guys. We'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Peace.